Grab a cup of joe, buckle up, and let's embark on a journey of self-discovery, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Let's get rolling.
Welcome back to the Rhythm of the Road podcast, everybody. I am super grateful to have somebody that's recording this episode with me a whole day in front of me once again. This is my second amazing guest from Australia. I'm not going to use the cliche down under because Australia is a country and it's a space. And so I want to honor that. And I have Christine with me today, and we've connected recently. And oddly enough, and maybe not oddly, serendipitously, she is an expert in one of the things and one of the reasons that I started the Rhythm of the Road podcast, which was beating that fear of being on video and starting a podcast and getting your voice and your message out there. So I love that we get a chance to have a conversation today. So Christine, I don't read bios because nobody tells their story like you do. So please share with my audience who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. And it's really an honor to be with you, and especially to find out that you were struggling with the same thing that a lot of my clients struggle with. So I'm Christine Blosdale, and I am the expert authority coach. And basically what I do is I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs, authors, coaches who really need to create a brand and get the message out about their passion, what they're passionate about, what they love doing. And many times we have these fears, phobias, imposter syndrome, all kinds of things that can hold us back. We're worried about what people might think of us. And so my job is to clear out all that junk and to really focus in on the aspects of your business, of who you are, your gifts, and so that we can put that message out to the world and connect with your audience. So it might be connecting with your audience who are podcast listeners, or it might be potential clients or customers for your business. And we need to communicate clearly who we are, who we serve, and what we can do to help people. And so that's my job, and I love it. I have clients in the United States, Los Angeles, New York, Canada, Australia, and then just recently, Nigeria, which I'm happy. I don't know how they found me exactly, but I'm happy to be working with my first Nigerian client. So that's what
incredible.
I do.
Well, thank you for being that person for folks just like me. And I feel like so often in this space, especially, folks flounder or they have so much of that fear. I hear you say the word fear, and it's so true. And I think the wonderful part is this is episode 102. So when it airs, I'll be over the 100 mark,
Yay!
which is such an amazing feat, and feels like a momentous piece for me, right? And I'm not sure how you share in that celebration with your clients, but one thing I've been just really holding together is episode 100 isn't necessarily for my audience. It's really for me.
You know what? I'll tell you, as someone who, one of the things that I do with clients is help them create a podcast for their business, for their brand and their business, and showing them everything from, the legal stuff you need to know, the title, theme music, editing, all that stuff. And even though a lot of people start off really excited about it, it's like getting a new puppy, right? It's like, oh, I got a new podcast. I got a podcast. The majority stop after only 7 episodes. So Jeremy, you should really be patting yourself on the back that you surpassed that 7 many times, and that it's something that you're developing a connection with your audience, but you're also meeting amazing people with your podcast. I'm not saying myself included, but you're meeting really amazing people, and your network is growing. So it's a fabulous way to share the space and to give a platform to people that you think your audience really needs to hear from. So congratulations on that and going over 100. That's awesome. You're way ahead of the game.
It feels like that. And I will tell you, I sat on the on a call with my editor this morning, and I'm just like, I mean, why do I do this? Should I keep going? Like, right? And still, after 100 episodes, I'm still having those recurring. And then it's somebody reaches out and say, I'm so sorry, I'm 5 episodes behind on your podcast. I'm like,
Shame on you.
Shame on you. I want to shame you right now, but really I'm going, oh, okay. You're the person I'm showing up for every week, and you're the.
Yes. Well, because Jeremy, you never know who's listening. You never know whose life you're going to touch, who you're going to inspire, who you're going to make laugh, or who you're going to touch, who's going to be moved by something that you've said or a guest that you've had on. So because you never know, I'll tell the clients that I work with, I say to really upscale your book that you're writing or your podcast that you're creating, always imagine, if you can, imagine someone who you really, really admire. It could be a speaker, it could be, if it's a celebrity, it's a celebrity. It could be someone that's not even here anymore, but imagine them reading that book or listening to that podcast. And when you imagine, especially if it's somebody that is still alive, if you can imagine that person that you respect and that you admire listening to your shows, all of a sudden you'll find that you start to kind of level up a little bit. It's like creating your videos for, social media. If you think that that person that you really admire is watching those things, you might up your game a little bit. And that's what we hope can happen. Because you never know. You never know who is listening to your shows.
I love that. And I love that you use that as that thread, because as a musician, because I've been a touring musician for 20 years as a drummer, and in the last 5 have been able to go only freelance, mostly because of other things that I have going on, have made it more so. But that's the one thing I always told myself, whether I was playing to 5 or 5,000, A, I never knew who was listening and watching, and B, I just needed to reach 1.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when I started the podcast and started having this as a platform and my stage, then I was like, well, I just need to reach 1. And if I can reach 1, then I've done my job and I've gotten that message out there. And after 100 episodes, I know I've gotten a little bit over 1, mostly because 3 reached out to me this week. So
exactly. It's working.
It's working.
And it's yours. You can, that's the beautiful thing about, just a few years ago, if we wanted to get the word out about what we're doing, what we're passionate about, we'd have to take out, advertising on radio, which was an arm and a leg. It cost a lot of money. And the same thing, for newspaper or magazines or for God forbid, television ads. So now, for the first time in human history, we actually have our own television station, our own radio network, and that's through technology. And so we're at a place now where we have more options and we have more choices. So as listeners, we have choices to listen to. Some people are into true crime podcasts. Others are into more motivational and wellness, holistic mindfulness podcasts. And so there's something for everybody. I always say there's a niche for everyone. and if you're passionate about something, explore it. I encourage people to explore it. You have a lot to gain and nothing to lose, except for a little bit of time. But I really encourage people to go after that passion. Yeah.
And even if you are only donating that time, so to speak, you're still learning something.
Yeah.
You're still gaining something.
And you don't have to do, if you're thinking about creating a podcast, you don't have to do something that goes on for years and years and years. You don't have to do 100 episodes. You can also do what we call, it's like a series, and maybe it's 10 or 12 episodes. And you can think of it, if you're a coach or, a teacher, you can think of it as bookends, right? There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And even in those 12 episodes, if it's something that can be evergreen and something that people can 2 years from now find, and they can go do a marathon of all 12 of your episodes and come away, feeling better about their lives or inspired, that's so worth it. So you don't have to have a podcast that every single week you do a new show, because I've got some clients that are like, that's not a commitment I can do. And I said, you don't have to. It could be a standalone podcast. It's all doable. True. If you think about it like a biography, like Princess Diana, it doesn't go on for years and years and years. It's pretty much like, she was born, she was living, then she was not.
Right.
But it's encapsulated, so you can actually get all of that material in one particular place, and it doesn't go on forever. So don't be afraid to create a podcast also that's got just so many episodes. It's all right.
Yeah, I found that, and likewise, my company also does like a done for you. I see that you do done with you. We do
Yes.
actually just done for you.
Bless
I
you.
want people to just show up and hit the record button and walk away, and we take care of the rest, which is amazing. But I've been really thinking about this idea lately because I have people coming to me asking to make digital courses, and I'm like, and as I hear you say, create something that's evergreen, why couldn't there be a 10 episode mini series that's focused on a topic that now you could repurpose? Because I talk to my clients a lot about like,
Yes.
one podcast episode gets you at least 37 pieces of content.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, and they're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, you're doing all this work and all this energy and all this expertise. I'm like, use it. Right.
Yes.
So if you take that and you build a course out of it, I said, now you have something that I could potentially sustain what you have going on in a podcast, or give you another tool in your toolbox for your brand.
Absolutely. And it's just planning it out. So not just doing an episode just for the sake of doing an episode, but carefully thinking about episode 1 is going to be introduction to the podcast, but also an introduction to the course that you're creating, right? And then each episode, it can be that way. I have not created a course yet out of my podcast episodes, and I've been podcasting for 9 or 10 years or something. I don't even know how long. But I'll tell you what I have done is I've got 5 best-selling books. I am not a writer. I am a speaker. I'm a talker. So I take the workshops that I've done, the webinars, masterclasses that I've recorded. I take episodes of different podcast episodes that I've done, and I take those, and instead of using a transcript, I use software that will turn those videos and podcast episodes into chapters in a book. And I self-publish those books, so I'm able to repurpose that content. And in addition to repurposing that content into books, like you said, there's so many different things you can do. You can now, with technology, you can get highlight clips and snippets and do a 30-second video for TikTok or Instagram. It's so easy to do now, but people get a little they still have to get over that fear of, oh, this is too complicated, I don't know if I can do it, and work with someone like yourself who makes it easy, right? It's like, you just don't worry, we'll take care of it, we'll help you get this thing going. We got you. Yeah. And that's important. That's really important. And then when people open their eyes and they go, oh my gosh, there's so much that I can create, that's when the creative juices start flowing.
Yeah. And it's like, you have to remove enough barriers so that they can actually see the light.
Yeah. Exactly.
And see whatever their pathway is, or since we're on the Rhythm of the Road podcast, they can see their own road. I'm not trying to steer them down it. I just want to clear the path so they can go on their journey.
Yeah. No, and making it easy for people. That's been my success, is I keep things simple, easy, and fun. And if it's simple, easy, and fun, at least for my clients, they're able to learn really quick. They're able to hold on to that knowledge, right? And apply it, because it's not some arduous, boring, complicated, technical thing. We break it down into really simple steps that they can take. So that's how at least I like to work.
Well, and it sounds then like they get that dopamine hit multiple times right away and they feel
Yeah.
successful. And the success is in the moving it forward, not necessarily the did I record something or did I do something? It's like it's already there. I felt the success. And then you want more. And then you're getting it, making that easy, which makes it fun.
Well, and it's having that
It's supposed to be.
success, then you have that confidence to go and do the next. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you're learning how to ride a bike. You don't just wake up like as a toddler and go, "Oh, I can ride a 10-speed bike." You start
Right.
off with training wheels, and then you get, you're like, "Oh, this is cool." You got balance, and then you take the training wheels off, and you're like, "Oh, okay, but I'm standing, I'm up, I'm not on the floor here." And then the next thing you do, you turn around and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm riding without hands on the handlebars." I'm like, but you need those little successes. And I always say too, though, it's really important to honor those times when you stumble, something goes wrong, right? And I don't say failure. I never say when you fail, because you don't really fail. But when you do something, you do an interview, let's say on a podcast, and you forget to hit record. It's okay. It's happened. It happens to the best of us. I've done webinars, and I'm like, midway through the webinar, I'm looking and I go, I forgot to hit record. I've been speaking for decades, and I've been doing these webinars and workshops forever. And I go, I can't believe, but you know what? It actually draws your audience even closer to you to realize, oh, she's human. Wow. What a concept.
It's authentic.
Yes. And then so now, what I do is before a webinar or workshop, I have a little Post-it note on my screen and it says hit record. Just so I make sure I do that. Right?
I love that. So when have you been doing a lot of traveling? I know that you said before we hit the red button, it's been a period of time, but
yeah, no, I haven't traveled a whole lot. Because my wife and I were married when I was in California. She was here in Australia, and I was going back and forth there for a while. I was very lucky. I had a job that allowed me to work remotely. And so I would go back and forth. And then when the whole COVID thing happened, I actually got the last flight out of Los Angeles, landed here the same night that they closed the border at midnight. So I landed at like 10 o'clock at night, and they closed the border at 12. So I just, and what happened is that I became very conscious of the fact that I don't ever want to be far away from her, because we were almost locked away from each other for 2 years, which I don't even know. I don't know how people did it. I really don't. It was already hard to be away from my mom. And she had passed while I was here. So that was very difficult, being that far away, 7,000 miles away. So I don't go anywhere unless my wife comes with me now, because I'm like, if there's a natural disaster or something happens, we're going to be together. And she's a real estate agent, so she gets no time off. So once in a while we'll take, a little trip. We did go for my 60th birthday. We went to Maui, and I love Maui. Oh my gosh. That's home. I feel. Have you ever been?
I've not been to Maui, no.
There's something, it's just, they call it the heart chakra of the planet, and I understand why. As soon as you step off that plane, you're greeted by these beautiful trade winds, and you can go in the ocean. It doesn't matter daytime, nighttime. You don't need a wetsuit. It's beautiful, warm water, the best food, that aloha spirit, and it's been through a lot with the fires and everything. It's been through quite a bit. So one of the things that we wanted to do is to spend our tourist dollars in Maui after when it was okay to visit the island. But it's important to support the businesses there. They got hit really hard, really devastating.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go there and support as many local businesses as possible.
My wife's name is also Tracy, so that is amazing.
Weird. Is she a real estate agent? No,
but I am.
Oh, that's funny.
We're looking at going to Hawaii, next year for a couple of weeks to celebrate 25 years.
Oh,
And
perfect. Yes, go.
So it
That's the
sounds like
perfect.
that's one of the places we should go.
That's the perfect place. That's the perfect place. Yes. There's nothing better than going in the water and you snorkel mask. I always have my little snorkel mask, and turning around, and then you seeing this prehistoric giant sea turtle just looking at you like, hello. And it's like up close to a dinosaur kind of thing, but they're so majestic, and it's just beautiful. I can't explain it. It's one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced, is to sit there and just chill with a turtle, underneath the
Right.
water. It's like, wow.
It sounds amazing.
Yes, go. You need to go.
All right. It's on the list. I've marked it down.
Okay, I'll
Christine
check
said we
in
have
with
to
you.
go.
I'm going to be checking in with you, making sure you went.
All right. I'll send you a message, or at least a picture from there.
Okay, good.
I love that. What does life look like for you coming up and next?
I'm like a little creation machine. I'm constantly creating. I either am writing a book, creating a new program that I can work with my clients. I've just started doing an accelerator program where I get to work very closely with my clients one-on-one, and it's every single week we're together, right? And the growth that happens from that is amazing. I love to see that. We work on branding, we work on their website, we work on everything across the board for them. But I recently put together I gathered other expert authority people, right? I gathered other experts in their field, in social media, in podcasting, in writing and publishing, in video creation. So I've gathered a group of people, and we did a bundle giveaway. This was a few months ago. I'm working on a second one now that's going to launch probably in October. And I believe in the win-win-win theory. So what we do is we gather up other experts. We all offer a thank you gift. We all offer a product, course, program, membership that is worth at least $127 or more. And many of the people that contributed were $500. The different things that they were offering were a value of $500 or more. And we package it all together. And for 1 week, it's available to all of our email lists, to our social media followers. For 1 week, they can claim all 15 of these programs, and they're absolutely free. And so it's a great way for these experts to get in front of new audiences and get warm leads. It's a wonderful way for our contacts and our clients to get more, right, than just what we can offer.
More value. Yeah.
And then we also get really wonderful warm leads, and we grow our email database by sharing these gifts. And so we've got another one coming up, and right now I'm just in the background building it out. And we do it for 1 week, and then everything is available for 30 days afterward. So the promotion period is 1 week, but then everything is available to people for 30 days afterwards. So and I love that. I love doing that. It's fun. It's fun because my clients get more. They get more information. They can expand their knowledge base and try things, because, hey, it's free to get this program or to have this meeting or session with somebody. And it's just a win-win-win for everybody. So that's what I like doing. And I probably would want to do it on a bigger scale. But right now I keep it to about 15 partners, collaborators, including myself. Yeah.
Which is still incredible, by the way.
It's like wrangling cats, dude.
We're talking about creatives here.
I know.
We're the best and the worst at it, all in the same.
What part of the assignment did you not understand? No.
Exactly.
They're all wonderful. They're very busy. I understand. They're very busy people. But yeah, it's fun. And I check in with them throughout the whole campaign. I was like, how you doing? And they're like, oh my God, I've gotten so many new signups for this course. I've gotten, I got a new client out of this. And that's exciting to me because I do not believe in a scarcity mindset. I believe that we're in a phase in humanity right now where we need to work together. This whole divisive thing of, are you blue? Are you red? Are you conservative? Are you liberal? This whole thing is crumbling in front of us. We see it. We see it in Hollywood. We see it in politics. We see it with our neighborhoods. And what we're missing is that we all need to get together and help each other. And it's not going to be a thing like, nope, I'm not worried about someone taking one of my clients away because I'm the giving tree, right? There's more, I'll bring in new people. But if I have that scarcity mindset and I'm like, no, this is mine, you can't have it, then I'm already creating that us versus them sort of mentality. And it's not working anymore. It doesn't work. So I like being around brilliant minds. I like upholding those brilliant minds and showcasing them and telling people this person is who you want to talk. Can I help people with LinkedIn? Yeah. But am I an expert on LinkedIn? No. I only just recently came back to LinkedIn. I had a love-hate relationship with it for years.
Sure.
Right? So I only just recently came back into it. But I know someone who is an expert at LinkedIn, and I will tell my clients, talk to this person. They'll help you. Yeah.
Right. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be
No. I know a lot about a lot of things, but not everything.
Are you inside my brain, Christine?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're inside my brain. Because I find myself being more excited. Sometimes I'm more excited about referring people to other people than I am getting new clients.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, Jeremy. We have some things to take care of. We want them. But I find the more I do that, the more clients.
It comes back.
Comes back.
Yeah. Well, and you're honoring that person, what they actually really need. Mm-hmm. One tip, and I'll give you, this is for your audience. For myself, it took me, when that light goes off and you go, oh my gosh, that's right. I figured this out. We tend to, as coaches and entrepreneurs, we tend to want to give people what we want to give them. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for example, during the whole COVID thing, I was extremely busy. I had a lot of clients coming to me to create a podcast, right? For their business, for their brand and their business. And so I was very busy working one-on-one with people, creating podcasts. I'd have workshops with groups. I wrote books on it. And so it was all about podcast producing, creation of podcasts. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, well, this is hot thing right now, so I'm going to market that. So I was marketing that. And then after COVID, after a while, I noticed that it started to slow down. The amount of people who wanted to be coached on creating a podcast or develop it. And I was like, oh, this is weird. But I kept trying to put that square peg in that round hole. This is what I do. This is what I do. And I realized, I was like, first of all, that's not just what I do. It's a part of what I do, but it's not everything I do. As a matter of fact, there's other things that I coach and I work with people that I enjoy even more than that, right? So I'm thinking, that's interesting. And then what I did is I looked at the market. I looked at who my demographic is, and the amount of people who want to create a podcast, have the money to work with me, okay, who have the real ability to do something, who have the time and energy, that group got smaller and smaller and smaller. And so here I was basing my whole business on something that I was trying to shove into the marketplace. Mm-hmm. This is what I do. This is what you need. But my demographic, it was getting smaller and smaller. So then when I actually looked at everything that I do, I say, but I do website consulting. I help people on their social media, how to create videos, TikToks, all those different things. Of course, podcasting, but branding, getting them booked as a guest on podcast, how all these things. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually can help people with what they need, not what I want to give them. As soon as I changed that, Jeremy, as soon as I changed that, my business completely changed. And I'm getting clients coming from like all over the place because I'm offering them now something that they actually really need. And if you want to call it a pain point, you can. I hate that word, but it's something that they need. They need help in their branding and their website and their messaging much more than creating a podcast.
Right.
So we as entrepreneurs and coaches, we really need to think about that. What do our potential clients and customers, what do they need? Don't make it just about what you can offer, but what is it that they actually need? Can you fill that need? And it'll turn your game around completely. It really will.
Right. And I find that, and then as my clients discover who I am more, my lifetime value with that client grows.
Yeah.
Because they find out, they're like, well, you also can help me here. I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, well, can you help me here? I'm like, well, no, but that person can.
Yes.
And
that builds their trust in you, Jeremy. They're right there. They're like, you know what? This guy could have, faked it and to keep me, but he's secure enough to recommend this other person. I really trust him. And trust is gold. In this industry, trust and authenticity is gold.
Right. Especially in that coaching space.
Yes.
I'm curious, just as someone else. I keep trying to decide if I want to showcase or tell that I do coaching. Because I don't like that word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I created
kind of like real estate agent.
You know it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the more I talk to some folks, then I have a very small pool of clients that I work with, and only because they found me, because they're like, through conversation and through relationship, they're like, can we do this thing? And yes,
Yeah.
And so I've just chosen to keep it as such, and let those folks find me.
You can create your own title. I think this is really important for people to nail down, who they are. At my core, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
But is there a huge market for teachers of, and it's such a nebulous thing. It's like, but I can help you with all these different things. It's like, no, it's too confusing. That's why I came up with the expert authority coach, because I coach, I teach people how to develop their expert authority and how to showcase that. Right. So that kind of comes under the umbrella of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But you don't have to call yourself a coach, and you can, there's different ways. I would sit with you. I would want to sit with you and come up with some titles if you wanted to, if you were leery of the coach moniker.
So I'm going to share an insider thing with you, and I don't know how much insider is going to be because this is going on YouTube and the podcast world. But what I've been using is the Island Mentor.
The what?
The Island Mentor. Because I love the water in the islands.
Uh-huh.
And I want to work with those folks who feel like they operate on an island all the time and they don't know where to go.
Oh. Well, if you were my client, Jeremy, I would want to work with you a little bit on that. Only because I'll tell you the story. So I had a client once. He was 82 or 83. Okay. He wanted to create a podcast for legacy, right?
Oh, I love that.
He was a beautiful, beautiful man. He grew up in the South, in racist South. So imagine, he's 83. He's seen a lot. And he had experienced the worst forms of racism and saw, such horrible things. Lived through the whole civil rights movement, all of that. And so he wanted to create a podcast talking about his childhood and the kind, beautiful women in his life, especially his grandmother, but what it was like to grow up, in the South. oh. So it's like not like he's in New York or LA or anything. He's in this deep South. And so he said, I want to create this podcast. I said, okay, Frederick. And he said, I want to call it My Little Green Frog. And I said, why that? And because immediately I'm thinking it's a children's podcast when I hear My Little Green Frog, right?
Same.
So he goes, no, because he goes, my grandmother, who I loved and trusted, my grandmother used to call me her little green frog. And he goes, and I just love that. And I said, okay. I said, Frederick, I said, it's not going to be called that. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, one of the episodes is going to be called My Little Green Frog, one of the episodes in your podcast. I said, but let's take a look at what the story you want to tell. And so he talked to me a bit about the story. I said, okay. I said, you actually grew up on a plantation. You lived on a plantation. Now, at the time when he was living there, it wasn't a plantation anymore, but it was a plantation. I said, that's right. Heavy, brother. That's intense. He said, yes, I did. He said, yes, I did. Okay. So I said, all right. So I went through and looked at some photographs of families in front of a plantation, and some very older historical ones, and basically put it together for a podcast cover art, put in a deep blue, and I said, it's going to be called Plantation Blues.
Oh.
And he looked at me and with tears in his eyes, and he went, oh, Christine. He said, that's perfect. I said, it kind of says it all, doesn't it? Plantation Blues. And I said, not only, Frederick, is that going to be an amazing podcast, that's also going to be a book. And that's going to be made into a movie book, because it's all right there. And it's your story. And your grandmother will be honored in this. Dedicated episodes that you want to do to it. And he was just so grateful. So there's a lot of power and in the words that we use and the names and the titles that we use. So that's why we went from My Little Green Frog to Plantation Blues. So the island mentor.
I love that here's what I love about what
we're going to have a talk, Jeremy.
You're the first person that's been willing to say, maybe that's not great. So thank you.
You're welcome. I can't help it. I'm that person that if I'm in a restaurant and across on the wall is a painting or something or picture and it's just off, I'm that person that gets up and moves it. I'm like, nah.
Must be fixed.
Yeah, I'll go in somebody's house, and if I see their stuff, if it's off kilter, I'll adjust it. I'm like, that painting should not be like that. It needs to be, that way.
I love that. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll talk off air. Mm-hmm. We don't want to give away everything on here.
That's right.
So I do know what I did hear you say is you have something that's going to be coming out in October with your win-win-win with this group of amazing folks.
Yes.
This podcast is going to air before that. So please make sure when you have a link or you have any information that we can drop it inside of here.
Beautiful.
And make sure to include it and go out to, my audience and those people that are watching and listening as well.
It will definitely be promoted also on my website. That's where all my goodies are. And that's expertauthoritycoach.com. So people can, and if you go into expertauthoritycoach.com, there's ways for you to stay connected with me. Also get a discovery call with me if you're interested in working on your brand or, your website or things like that. They can book a free call with me. And we get a lot done and we talk a lot during that call. But then also if you or your wonderful listeners would like to see where they rate on their own expert authority in whatever field it is, doesn't matter. I have a quiz that they can take, and it's 10 questions that you should be asking yourself anyway, no matter what business you're in. But especially if you're a coach or you want to, if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, there's 10 questions that you can ask. and then it spits out a rating to tell you if your expert authorityness is at the top, you're so good, you're on track, or if you need a little, maybe need a little work here and there, and some suggestions for you. And that's at expertauthorityquiz.com.
Wonderful.
And they get the immediate answers right there, and it's fun, and it's actually it's really good because they're things that you didn't think about asking yourself, but they're all important. They're all really important questions.
Well, I will make sure that those are all in the show notes below so that they can
Beautiful.
just click and go right to them, because we want it to be easy, like you said.
Yes.
So that they can go and have some fun and learn some things about themselves. And I'm going to tell everybody, if you're still hanging out here with us today, which I hope you were and are, that I'm going to book my own call. So make sure that you do, because I got a 15-second version, I think, of whatever that call looks like in a big picture.
I would love to. You can go ahead and book that at my website. Get that in there.
You can count on it. It'll be coming over. I appreciate it. Anything else that you want to leave with the audience today, Christine?
The motto that I have on every page of my website, at the very bottom, it says this, and I try and impart this with everybody. It says, remember this: if you're not seen and heard, you're not hired. This is really important for people to know who are struggling, or if they're saying, I want clients, I want to be a coach, or I want to, help people. You need to be seen and heard. And so take those opportunities to be seen and heard. If it's writing blogs, if it's being a guest on podcast shows, if it's writing those books, if it's creating those TikToks, whatever it is, do as much as you can so that you can be seen and heard, and then eventually hired.
Amazing. Thank you. And she is correct. I'm looking at her website right now. It says it on the bottom of it.
There you go.
It's right there.
Jeremy.
I got you. And thank you so much for your time in your morning and in my evening. It's been wonderful and a treat for myself. And if you are looking to connect with Christine, make sure that you go to her website, make sure that you take her quiz, and make sure that if you are out in the social media landscapes, give her some love, because she's doing some really important things for folks, and all of us in the trenches need a little love as well. So thank you, Christine. Thank you, audience. Jeremy. And I'll see you all down the road.
Thanks for cruising with me on this episode of Rhythm of the Road. Remember, the journey itself is the destination. Until next time, keep the rhythm flowing, and we'll see you down the road.